Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen.
We're lobbying everybody else, and they will...
No one's clapping. No one's clapping for your turn. Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
Could I answer my question? Could I answer the question, please?
You're talking about one thing they don't teach in school? They don't teach about the USS Liberty, where Israel literally came, blew up an American ship because they want us to get in their war with Egypt, and they don't teach that in school. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question.
I'm your host, Kacee Allen. We've got a big interview today. We're going to be talking to Jeb Baugh, University of North Dakota student that, if you guys have not been living under a rock, I'm sure you've seen went viral all over social media and is still going viral. I believe it was at Turning Point USA at North Dakota, where Glenn Beck filled in for Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace. But Jeb, thanks for joining us. Just fill my audience in a little. Absolutely, man. Or how exactly do you feel about this? And just to give my audience a bit of an understanding, what exactly happened that day, and how exactly did you react to it?
So Glenn Beck was talking about, he had 9 different points he was talking about. One of the points was question everything. So I asked Glenn Beck, I was like, Glenn Beck, I really like your point, question everything. And one question I have for you, Glenn, is, I'm going to summarize it. Basically, why is Israel doing all this bad stuff, getting involved in our government through AIPAC, dragging us into wars in the Middle East, blowing up the USS Liberty, killing Christians in Gaza and southern Lebanon? Why are we still supporting Israel? Why is Israel our, quote, greatest ally?
Yeah, I mean, I commend you for standing up and saying that. I can't tell you how hard it is to find, college kids, let alone grown adults, to speak up against this issue. What exactly encouraged you that day to step up and do that? Did you have the intention to show up to that event, after Charlie Kirk passes away, after someone else fills in his shoes, after, our generation is really questioning Israel's control on American politics? Was it like a gut instinct, or did you kind of think like, I need to present myself and present, my school and the country with a very salient conversation that's going to push us forward?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I wasn't going to go to the event in the first place. I was like, you know what? Who's Glenn Beck? Why would I even go to the event? So I got my ticket about an hour before it started. Didn't even get a seat at the bottom at first, but then I spotted one and I went up and took it. And my dad told me it's better to regret doing something than not doing something. So I thought, you know what? I know a lot about this issue. I'm going to go up here and ask Glenn Beck this and see what his take on it. And he didn't even let me finish. He just started talking about radical Islam like all the other neocons do.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. So you basically freeballed it, though. You just said, you know what? You saw the opportunity. You said, look, this needs to be done. And did you expect Glenn Beck to react that way? Like, what did you, because obviously, like, going up and asking the question, you probably stood in line, like, did you expect that to go viral, or did you expect him, like, what were you thinking then?
I didn't expect it to go viral. No. I kind of got that he would answer that question. I really didn't expect that he would cut me off and not let me finish. I feel like, a lot of these conservative groups, they talk about free speech and stuff like that, but he didn't let me have freedom of speech. I mean, he was shutting me down before I could even finish. And, it's only freedom of speech when it's stuff they want to talk about. If it's Israel or real issues in this country, they kind of shut you down.
Yeah, and that's foolproof. I mean, I've been through it myself. I think we've seen a lot of pure evidence of that. If anyone, if you've ever been involved in a GOP chapter, let alone being in the establishment GOP, you will totally see that, it's completely occupied. And it's not just the Republicans, it's the Democrats as well. And this is something that, 18 to 25-year-olds feel and, almost entitled to talk about, and really, how this is so stressful in our country. So how do people in your generation feel about this? I mean, especially, I guess we're both of our generation, but especially in North Dakota, young, I guess what are you, a freshman, or what, you're
freshman,
younger
yes,
college, right? Yeah, there you go. So how exactly do you feel, and does your generation feel about all this? Like, do you think they're aligned with you? Are they aligned with, the sentiment of, the anti-Israel, America first sentiment in general?
Yeah, I would say a good 70% of young men around my age think how I do. I've had a lot of my buddies and a lot of people I don't even know. They were like, "Thank you for doing that. That takes a lot of bravery to do." And Like some of my friends 2 years ago, when I would be like, "Oh, Israel, is occupying the U.S. ground," they'd be like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're just a conspiracist." But now they're like texting me on it. They're asking me questions. Everyone's waking up. I mean, this isn't just like a left or right thing. A lot of Gen Z is waking up to this issue. So yeah, I'd probably say about 70 to 75% of our generation is waking up to the impact that Israel has on our country.
Yeah, that's really reassuring because, like, when you look at the boomers, I mean, especially the ones that watch Fox News, CNN, all the legacy media, like, I think still a good like 60 to 70% still do support aid to Israel. Like another 90% support, a right to a Jewish state. So it's like you can see how they've been programmed for the longest time. We have newer media today. We have what they consider Web 2, Web 3. We've got obviously Twitter. We've got more. I would say we've got the liberalization of media ever since Trump got elected, even though censorship still exists. Uh, but it's funny though
Even
because someone like Glenn Beck, though, like you said, he wanted to really go to the it's Islam, it's this, it's that, like not really wanting to talk about the problem at hand that you can't really avoid anymore. It's unavoidable, and it really does show because, like I said, he wouldn't hear you out. He cut you off. But like, what do you think this says about? Or what do you think the reaction would be, I guess, to younger people? You said 70% are on,
yeah,
I would
I
say the
mean,
right side.
I see plenty of my friends that are just, I mean, normal dudes, really don't talk about politics or anything, and I'll see they like a Nick Fuentes clip on Instagram. I mean, it's a lot of people are waking up. It's exciting to see, but I don't know what's going to come from it. But I think over time, our generation is just going to kind of get in power over the next 10 to 20 years, and Israel won't be an issue for us. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And like I'm same here. I mean, I've seen so many people that, have been more enticed by the far right kind of edgelord content of the past 6 months to a year. And I thought it's funny because like I've like me and yourself kind of been on this page for at least a few years now, and longer in some case. But it is interesting to see the shift though, because I think this problem has gotten so unavoidable and it's gotten such an issue that people are now angry, they're furious, and they're not willing, they're not going to hide it anymore. So I'm just wondering, with this Trump administration, are we going to see anything better? I mean, I almost think not even 1 year in, I think we all can fully admit that it's been completely captured and occupied by, this Israeli transnational group of Jews. I think that's almost obvious at this point.
I mean,
So, I
I
mean,
think.
yeah, what
What
you're
were you
saying?
saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think Trump even himself realizes the Israel lobby, and Trump at first was very anti-establishment in 2016, but I think now he's kind of scared for his life, and he's just accepted the occupation that they have. I mean, this is not an America First administration. If anything, it's like America's a bleeding wound, and Trump is just a very sad band-aid on the issues of our country. He didn't he doesn't really fix anything. We're still sending money to Ukraine. We're still sending money to Israel. Um, we aren't deporting enough people. I mean, it's not truly an America First administration.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to go to deportations exactly. So, do you fully agree that we should deport all illegal immigrants, and at the very least, put a moratorium on mass immigration, especially legal immigration when it comes to it? What's your take on immigration right now?
Oh, 100%. We need to stop all immigration for at least 10 years, and all the illegal immigrants in our country, they need to get out. The most reasonable way to look at this issue, and even Democrats, not even longer than 10 years ago, were talking about how mass immigration is detrimental to our country. Even if you look at it from the economy standpoint, there's only so many jobs, and it's destroying our American middle class. It's only at the benefit of these corporations. So I don't understand how people, especially left or right, could support mass immigration. It's at the cost of their standard of living and their life, and not just their jobs, but also their communities.
Yeah, and it also changes the demographics of our country, takes away jobs. And another interesting conversation that a lot of people are kind of in the middle on, even on the right, it's the whole thing about if we deport all legal immigrants that are working jobs right now, that they claim there's going to be a massive work shortage. And I did the numbers on that. That would actually include about probably 5% of the total workforce right now, which again, they shouldn't have had jobs to begin with. But with that being said, the current unemployment rate is 4.5%. So you're trying to tell me if we deport all these guys, wouldn't that open up a lot of positions for these people that currently can't find jobs, especially people that have graduated college, have MBAs, have, doctorate
Mhm.
degrees, and they still cannot land a job at Macy's. Like, so I think that's a big problem. And I'm someone that's willing to take the loss in that. I think a lot of people have even seen Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a construction company owner, who I actually agree with on quite a bit of issues, especially I commend her for speaking up against Israel. But I don't think that's America first. I think that we need to actually put the American people first, and everybody else comes after that. I mean, I think it's really not even up for debate. And the fact that we were capable of letting these people in, I think we can let them out as well. I think we can still survive off that way. And same thing with tariffs. I think we need to have American manufacturing. Put these things first. We also don't need to be buying beef from other countries.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you feel about tariffs, actually?
Yeah, I would agree with tariffs. We need to, I mean, Trump even ran on something in 2016. He was talking about the deindustrialization of America. I mean, if you look at our Rust Belt, that used to all be good paying middle class manufacturing jobs, and that's all gone. We've all outsourced our labor for cheaper goods at the cost of our communities and employment. It's truly terrible. The price of everything isn't just American made goods are way more important than the actual price of something.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. It's actually a tough conversation. That's why I wouldn't put too much blame on Trump, because I do know he is pro tariff, like, especially when it comes to that, at
Mhm.
least. Like, I think he
Mhm.
does
Yeah.
want American manufacturing. Like, that's
Mhm.
something he actually is a populist about. But the issue does come, though. There's Chinese people that are making, cell phone chargers for 30 cents on the hour. You have very low wage in a lot of these other countries. And I've talked to business owners myself. That's their biggest complaint, is that, they have to pay American workers a certain wage.
Mhm.
One, because it's, they feel entitled to, and two, because, we've actually crippled our economy. And I'm not sure how much you're into the, Federal Reserve red pill. That's something I've definitely swallowed. But,
Yeah.
the fact that we print all this money, we devalue the currency quicker than we can even take a breath. So I mean, they've even said the U.S. dollar could be down 10% this year, and that's just an estimate. But you talk about 2020, we doubled the money supply, quantitative easing. Is that something you're aware of? Like, have you realized how much we've literally crippled the average American's wallet just by printing all this money?
Yeah, I have looked into it. Actually, I kind of have this theory that America's been on decline since the year 1971 when we got off the gold standard. I mean, we print all this money at the benefit of these billionaires and these mass corporations so they can, make more stuff, buy more stuff at the cost of a worker. And that's not it's not America first to, always be pro big business. That's not America first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the craziest thing. It's like, you know, we really do see this mega corporate establishment, this regime, whatever you want to call it. It's got like 8 legs. Like, it
Like a
literally
technocrat,
has, yeah,
like a
technocratic,
technocracy, yeah.
techno oligarchy. Like, there's just so many terms you could coin it. But then you see like Trump, partnering with someone like Bill Gates. You see Zuckerberg. Like, a lot of people,
Elon
especially in our,
even.
yeah, I mean, Elon's a shady figure. I actually have, a lot of theories about him. I think he's someone who, seemed to at least be America first, at least seemed to be someone who wanted to, help out at least with the populist right wing. But then he very quickly turns last December. He actually, if you're familiar with the H-1B visa scandal,
Yep.
there was, I mean, I actually didn't get banned myself, but I had many friends that did, and they had to recreate new accounts. But basically, there was this whole scandal about the H-1B visa system, which, allows immigrants from other countries to come work in America. They get benefits for like 5 years. In some cases, they actually get their citizenship afterwards. Excuse me. And that's the whole thing, that Elon Musk, an immigrant himself, coming from Africa and owning all these companies like Tesla that hire a lot of these H-1Bs, he took it upon himself to ban people from Twitter. He wanted to make a statement that he actually does stand with legal immigration, and if you have anything to say about it, well, you're not going to have a voice, and there's no free speech after all. So yeah, Elon Musk is a shady figure. I think he's made a positive contribution with X. I think the fact that we're able to have a platform, able to talk about things we couldn't otherwise 3 years ago, that to me is a positive contribution. But I also have I'm also kind of black pilled in a sense, because I have a weird feeling that like there could be a reason behind all this. The liberalization of media. Maybe there is a second catch to it. Like, maybe they wanted us to have these platforms, to say things, to maybe socially engineer something. So I don't.
Yeah, I
I
never
always
thought
have that
about
in the back of
that.
my head. Like, yeah, so maybe there's like a ulterior motive to it. Maybe there is a reason, like they're allowing people like Nick Fuentes, people like myself are getting amplified when these opinions that we're talking about now would have no sort of reach and would be blacklisted, if not banned, not too long ago. So I don't. And
I
here's
kind of
my,
have a theory.
yeah,
I
yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
theory on why that is. So it's kind of a conspiracy theory, but I wouldn't doubt that there's going to be someone out there that has, following Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, reposting all their things, and then say they do a terroristic act. And then they could kind of be like, okay, this is getting out of control. We need to shut down these platforms. These people cannot speak because obviously they can't handle it. They are crazy and radicalized. So that's just a theory of mine, but just putting it out there.
I think that's actually pretty accurate. I mean, when I think about that now, it's pretty scary to think about because that would be the easiest. Like that would actually be the point of doing that because, I mean, we're at a point like right now with the whole Israel conflict. It's like we're one false flag away. We're one, event away from something really crazy happening. And I'm sure you've seen like, I mean, this was out of the United States. It was in Canada. There was a guy that got arrested for simply denying the Holocaust. And then in the United States, I think there were several other people that. I believe were either incarcerated or they got charged for making threats against like pro-Israel influencers. So, and this is on Twitter.
It's
So,
it's it's really bad in Europe. It's really bad in Europe and Canada. I mean, you say you don't want Muslims in your country, cops will come up to your door. It's crazy. It's literally it's not free speech anymore. Like we literally live in like a leftist Zionist, pretty much dictatorship. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Owned by the corporations and I mean all the media, the academia, all the institutions.
yeah, you're exactly right. And kind of want to segue into this. Have you ever heard of the Samson option? It's something that,
Yes,
and
yes, I have heard of the
there you
Samson
go.
option.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you know that, but it's funny
It's
because this is
scary.
something. It might be one of the scariest things, if not the greatest threat we face as a country. And I think 1% of the people, if not less, even know about it. Yeah, basically what it is. I mean, Israel has this plan that if the United States does not go along with keeping them alive, keeping them a sovereign nation, then they're going to flip a switch and, we're going to go down with them. So that is, I don't know how that might, they're not even talking about this, especially in the National Security Council. I mean, obviously they're controlled by Israel, but it's like you would think if this is any other country, this would be a serious national
A
security
big
threat.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah, more so than Iran or weapons of mass destruction or any of that hoax they try to get us to fall for.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about that one too. I know we're going all over the place, but what exactly did you make of in the summer during Operation Midnight Hammer? And I believe it was there were two operations. It was basically Iran and the United States did a joint venture, a joint bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities, and they allegedly destroyed them all. I think that's false. But it was funny because when I was around friends and family once this happened, it was during the summer. I was at a pool one day, and it was a really hot day, having a beer. It was pretty nice. But this happened, and I was talking to friends about it, regular people, some of them even our age, and they actually were cheering this on. They thought that it was, America first, and it was,
Mhm.
peace through strength to bomb Iran, and this is what
Mhm.
Trump's all about. I'm like, didn't we campaign off of being
Yeah,
anti-war? Didn't we
didn't
say that
we
we
didn't we
don't want?
vote for no more wars? I mean, that's kind of how I see. Yeah, I saw that a lot too. I mean, I had a lot of my conservative friends, even the ones that are starting to notice now. They were like, "Yeah, this is great. Yeah, America first. We're whooping ass over there and they killing these terrorists." I mean, Iran isn't our problem. Iran isn't the reason we can't afford houses. Iran isn't the reason we have to go to college and get in debt and have two parents working just to live a middle class lifestyle. Iran isn't the reason our communities are failing. Iran isn't the reason for mass degeneracy, in the Western world and mass immigration. Yeah, I thought it was terrible. I was like, oh my gosh, no way Trump did this. I thought we were going to go to actual war with Iran. So I mean, it's good that didn't happen. But yeah, we shouldn't even been over in the first place. Why? I mean, why are we are always fighting Israel's wars? I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, well, I mean, it goes really, if you want to go like way, way back, you talk about the Balfour Declaration, but, kind of
Yeah.
up to modern day. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the current Israeli prime minister, who was in the process of being elected for, when he had that weird gap in 2002, I believe, going to Congress, lobbying on behalf
Mhm.
of Israel for the United States to
Yeah.
go to war with Iran, Libya,
Yep. I
Syria,
talked about
Sudan,
that with Glenn
Lebanon.
Beck. Yeah, I talked about that with Glenn Beck, and that's he cut me off pretty much
Yeah.
right after I said that. Yeah.
Oh, and I know why he did. I'm sure he probably got the call. He probably was like, "Oh, yeah, shut it down." I mean, again, I'm surprised he didn't actually kick you off the stage. I think that's why he started sweating, took his coat off because he was like, "You know what? If I actually tell this kid to, piss off, or if I say something that's, not popular enough, like I'm going to catch heat for it." And, I think he realized he's walking on eggshells. Like someone like Glenn Beck is just as compromised, if not more, by the Israel lobby and the Israel donors than Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's been around
Yeah.
3 times as longer.
Um, Charlie Kirk, I mean, he said a month before he got killed, he was like, "I'm scared Israel's going to kill me." Glenn Beck even, I don't know if you saw this clip, but he was like, he wrote a letter to Netanyahu, and he was like, it would be an honor to stand next to the Jew, and like he wanted to become a citizen of Israel. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah,
I can't
that
be
was a
the
while
least bit.
ago.
I can't be the least bit surprised. I could totally have seen that. I mean, someone like Glenn Beck, he's very like he's like a shady guy because not like shady, but he tries to put up the big tent. Like if you hear him, I mean, I'm not like a big Glenn Beck listener, but if you hear some of his takes, like he's kind of all over the place. Like he tries to present himself as like I'm a populist, like I'm a true like Rush Limbaugh, like trying to like be like I guess placate himself as like a Tucker Carlson or something. I have no idea,
Mhm.
but then he goes off and says, "Oh, Israel's our greatest ally. Oh, like you said, I want to become a citizen of Israel. I want to be a dual citizen. Jewish people are God's chosen people." It's like we've heard this a million times. We know this is coming right from the
Yeah,
donors. This is a script that, again, maybe he actually does believe this. I haven't put that off the table. I think some of these people, well, yeah, they're getting
I
paid
actually
money.
believe it.
Uh,
Yeah, I think some
yeah,
of them
I
are
think
actually
they,
burned. I think a
yeah,
lot of it has to do with and I don't know. Do you know what the Schofield Bible is?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think a
I've
lot of
fortunately didn't watch that or listen to that, I guess, but
I
yeah,
think
it's
a
crazy.
lot of evangelical Christians are brainwashed and they truly do believe Jews are God's chosen people, Israel's our greatest ally, and it's like almost like some sort of spiritual war to support Israel. I mean, did you see Ted Cruz talking the other day? And he was like, did you
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they also had a
yeah.
pastor on there, and he was like, we put the citizens of Israel even above United States citizens, like because they try to literally make it as a religious thing, and like if you don't support Israel, you're demonic pretty much, and that's just crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's blasphemous, and it's also a sin itself to question someone's loyalty with God to say that because you disagree with something that's not even in the scripture, that we're now deeming you a spawn of Satan, as people like Mark Levin will say. I mean, it's absolutely insane, and they expect people to buy this in America. Like, let's just say maybe they can get this to work in another country, but you're doing this
In
right in front of
America,
us.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, on our soil, on our TV screen, in our school system, in our churches now. I mean, and I think there is a pretty funny reason behind that because I saw the pastor. I don't know where it was at, but I did see he spoke up, literally saying that Jews are better than Gentiles. I mean, he was very blatant about that. Uh, but yeah, I really don't know where this whole like.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it.
I would assume it was from like 1920. I
Yeah.
was told that this whole like Christian Zionism didn't even come from the Bible. It was actually something that politicians
Mm,
themselves came up with.
mm. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's really something our generation has to work. I think it's mainly among older, boomers, evangelicals, and Baptist. I would say in the South, it's pretty bad. Up here in North Dakota, it isn't as bad, but in the South, I definitely like. I was dating this girl one time, and this was like 3 years ago, and we were arguing about. I was arguing with her grandparents on why like Jews aren't the chosen people, and she was like, "You are just wrong." Like she just couldn't. She was just like, "You're anti-Christian. Like you're not of the Bible." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not even arguing with you." But I don't think it's
Yeah, I
really
mean, it
something
just
our
shows.
younger people have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a lot of those people, like some of these boomers. I mean, you gotta love some of them, but yeah, their brains are completely like crystallized, made of plastic. They've kind of they've lost their prefrontal cortex in the nicest way possible. But in a sense, like this is something that they can't hide from, especially the GOP establishment, the Israel donors. That most of these guys are in their mid 40s, mid 50s, upper 60s, 70s, planning on retiring. Like that's why there's this really war on it, information war on social media and throughout the country with the younger generation because the Zionists, they are sweating like crazy right now. The Jews in America, the Bill Ackmans, they are worried that the next generation, both left and right, will not support Israel. We're not going to bail them out. We're not going to give them money when they need it. Like when they claim, and especially if you saw the New York mayoral debate between Andrew Cuomo and Zoran Mamdani, they basically made a majority of the debate about whether you support a Jewish homeland, whether you support
Yeah.
like this is a New
Like
York mayoral race.
they were like, where would you visit first? And I mean, I don't like Mandami either, but
Yeah,
he was like,
same.
oh, I'd stay here in New York, and people were giving him heat for it. And I was like, like, why would a mayor go to another country?
Yeah, that's my biggest frustration with it. And I'm not from New York myself, so I can't claim to have so much affinity in this. But I think all Americans should be concerned about one of the greatest cities in America and who's the mayor. So I think everyone kind of has a bit of stake in this. But someone like Mamdani, like, yeah, I disagree with socialism. I don't think I don't think government run grocery stores. I don't think, taxing and increasing the income tax to like 52%. That's not going to benefit Americans.
Yeah,
Wealthy companies,
and
business owners, they'll be out on day one.
he kind of wants to abolish private housing too. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that. He wants to basically buy up people's apartment complexes and make government housing. Um, but honestly, if Mondami wins, I think kind of New York deserves it. I mean, they can see what more mass immigration looks like, stuff like that, and I think it'll kind of bring more people to the right. Honestly, I mean, we've seen that in Europe. The more leftist the government is, the more people end up coming to the right.
Yeah, that's inevitably what's going to have to happen. I mean, New York's a shit show anyways, but you talk about like, and are we really in reality now where the Republicans are endorsing Andrew Cuomo for politics? I mean,
Yeah, well,
that's it's
there's
almost like
also
we're in a
there's also Curtis Sliwa. I don't know if you saw him.
sleep. Yeah, they're actually urging him to drop out now because
I know, I saw
I don't
that.
think he's got much of a chance.
I
I
think if
mean,
Andrew dropped out, I think Curtis could win, honestly. But I just don't think that's
oh
gonna
yeah,
happen.
I think, yeah, I think Cuomo might, even now he'll probably get like 20 to 30%, maybe a little bit more because they're showing for him hard. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Sliwa, maybe he gets 40%, maybe he gets close. But I mean, I mean, Mamdani is like, he honestly reminds me of like a Democrat version of Vivek Ramaswamy, very on par. I mean, almost, I
Yeah,
don't see too many differences when it really comes down to it. Like, these guys are, Ivy League, Harvard,
globalists.
Yale guys. Yeah, yeah. Social globalists, very tied to making money from other countries, very tied with international communities. Both aren't American by my standards, but I think it's very funny that someone like him, he just walks right through. He tells you everything you want to hear. He actually, I mean, I'll give him credit. He had a hell of a campaign strategy. I mean, he walked up to food trucks and said, "Hey, what's your biggest problem here?" And they said, "It's this, $10,000, $20,000 a year permit we have to pay." He said, "Okay, well, if we remove that, wouldn't that make things cheaper? And couldn't we make these hot dogs, from $9 to $6?" Like, obviously, the permit's important because regulation is important with food. But someone like him, he just makes it appealing to especially the younger people when you say, "Okay, this is the problem. Here's how to fix it." Like, that's going
Mm,
to win every time. And I think you're going to see a lot of people model off that. I think you're going to see a lot of
yeah.
replication off of Mamdani's campaign.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think we could have some socialist aspects in America? Do you think we could have, like, say, subsidized housing, more pro-family policies if we actually put our tax dollars to use and we stop letting in so much of these illegal immigrants and, most immigrants in general?
Yeah, that's a very interesting conversation because we're going to be faced with it regardless. I think universal basic income and AI, those two things together are inevitable. So it's going to come to a point, especially with, I think AI is probably going to be the biggest factor here because we're really seeing for the first time in the past 5 years, like, AI gets so good to where it can fully replace
Mm,
human labor. And not only just basic human labor, I'm talking like 60,
yeah.
70, 80%.
Do
So, I
you
mean,
think
that's
there
going to
should
be a
be
big problem.
Do you think there should be some sort of regulation for AI? I do. I think we could regulate AI because I think, with too much AI, it hurts the worker only at the benefit of these big corporations, and it hurts small businesses too. Because, say for example, like even as simple as thing as like self checkout, these big businesses like Walmart and Target can afford self checkout, but for a smaller business, it's a lot more expensive, and it doesn't. It's cheaper to hire a worker, but in the long run, these big businesses benefit more from self checkout. So I think we could regulate some of these automation to help workers. And I think that could be kind of like a bipartisan thing. And I don't see why, that's wrong.
You're exactly right. And the problem with that is it was very slyly put into Trump's big beautiful bill, but it got removed because it was so unpopular. And I actually spoke out against it for like 2 weeks straight. But there was something in that big beautiful bill that came out earlier in the year that said it was a 10-year moratorium or it was a 10-year regulation that the federal government had over AI over the states. And obviously, every state should be able to at least have some decisions when it comes to how AI is treated in their state. But the federal government, especially the Trump administration, a lot of their allies, they really wanted to be under federal control so they can have it in their monopolized system. So people like Jeff Bezos, people like Oracle, Larry Ellison, so they have the biggest stake there because obviously they're controlled. They're basically all on the same team. And that's the whole point here. It's like, you know, whether we go to socialism, whether this leads to, I don't know what this is going to lead to be honest, because, none of this is at the behest of the American people. This is completely It's pro-globalist. That Trump even stands by all this. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I say this every week because I go on shows myself, like you, and I'll do my own shows. But I always catch myself saying, like, I feel like this can't be any worse. I feel like we can't undo or outdo the last week. And I always prove myself wrong.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Trump administration lets an Israeli cybersecurity official flee after being busted in a sex sting operation, whether it's consistently giving billions of dollars to Israel when we voted not for that to happen. So, this is completely a mess, and I don't know what the next 3 years is going to look like. But there's so many problems here. Yeah, what's up?
Where do you hope to see, like, in 3 years from now? Who do you hope to see, like, as the the head of the GOP? Because I really hope it's not Vance. Vance is not America first. He's not. He's kind of lied about his story. His wife is Hindu. He's really not a true American. So where do you see the GOP in the next 3 years?
Oh, it's going to change for sure. It's unlike it's ever been for sure, especially being in the GOP myself for the past couple of years. Like, it's going to change. Like, we're going to see. I really don't think Vance is going to be the nominee. I hope I'm right about this. I could be wrong, but I think you're going to see someone like a Steve Bannon, like a Dan Bilzerian, maybe even a Thomas Massie. Not likely, but someone of that stature. I could totally see someone like that come in and just completely snatch it out of the establishment hands, just like Trump did. Because I think we can consider Trump to be part of the establishment and all of his cronies, all of his sycophants, all of his paid contributors and sponsors, the Benny Johnsons. I think they're pretty much on that side. So it's going to be hard for them to win, especially the way things are going. And, I think there's also going to be a massive void, especially when Trump, who's, he's been the face of the GOP since 2015, when he finally leaves office in 2029, it's going to have a massive hole. It's going to be a void for someone to fill. And, I don't think it's going to be Vance, but you talk about the options right now. Yeah, what was that?
Do you think Democrats could win in 2028?
Yeah, I think they could. I very well think that's on the table. I think we're only helping them. We being the Republicans, Republican establishment, Trump administration. I think we're only helping them by, covering up the Epstein files, doing the things most Democrats have already done, would be doing. So I think someone like Gavin Newsom is already entitled to 25 to 30% of the vote easily. I think,
100%,
and
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be between that though. I could see this being like I believe it was the Bill Clinton election in '92 when Ross Perot got like 37% of the vote as an independent. So I could see it being something like that, where, like someone because so many people are fed up with the system, and you're seeing the right and left come together on the Israel issue. We could see like, an Anna Kasparian, a Dan Bilzerian, someone probably, more middle ground. I think that's a real possibility. I don't think they'll win, but I think it's going to be, this whole election is going to be in 2028 and even the midterms. It's going to be based off of the Israel issue. It's going to be based off of affordability. But I think the foreign intervention and this whole mess with Israel and
Americans
AIPAC,
are tired of
it's
it.
unavoidable. Yeah, we're tired. Everyone is. And that's why I think the Israel donors and Israel themselves, the Zionist Americans, like, they are sweating bullets right now. Like, they couldn't have in their worst nightmares imagined that they could be faced with a generation that not only doesn't support Israel, but in a sense doesn't even support their existence as a state because of how much damage they've done. So that's what they're going to be faced with, regardless whether it's left, right, who's in power. That's why they're trying to control TikTok. That's why they're censoring on X. That's why they're trying to shut down the protests at the universities. Even you could say that the National Guard being deployed to cities could have some impact into that. But yeah, it's very scary times because I was someone who did have a bit of faith in this administration. I didn't know the Israel issue very well, and I was very concerned when Trump did make one of his 10 points of the Republican Party being that we do support Israel. And I thought that was very strange and almost maybe not vote for him. I was very close, but I was more concerned with, I was pressured because I didn't want to lose all of my accounts, go to jail because of Kamala Harris. Like, whether that would have happened or not, I don't know.
Well, the way I look at it, actually, I think Kamala Harris, if I could go back in time, I would have voted for Kamala Harris because, let me explain. Um, Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to bomb Iran. Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to send money to Ukraine. Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to send money to Israel. So obviously there'd be a lot more immigrants come in, and that would be very bad and detrimental to society. But Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to do this stuff. The GOP would be harder on her, and more people would look into it. And I think people are waking up now. But do you kind of see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I actually had a kind of theory with that as well. I was thinking if Harris won, I was thinking this like 2 weeks before the election. I was like, I'm not that worried anymore because if Trump wins, I think we'll be in the blue. We'll be in the clear. But I think if Harris wins, I think you're going to see a January 6th at every single capital in America. I think you're every
I
state
think
capital.
we would have a civil war if Kamala Harris won.
Exactly.
If Trump got shot and killed that day in Pennsylvania, or if Kamala Harris would have won,
Yeah.
I think we would have seen a civil war, 100%.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we would have rejected this completely. I think the absolute legitimacy of the system, which has no trust already, would have been eviscerated. Like there would have been nothing left. And I really do think that Miriam Adelson, who gave Trump $100 million, the Silicon Valley, the Elon Musks, the Ken Griffins, like I think they bought Trump intentionally. Like they knew that they had to secure the Israel vote. They had to secure the big money interests that previous Republicans, previous presidents in the past have supported. So that's where I think that Israel got the green light, and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna funnel money into Trump. We're gonna let him win." And essentially that's what happened. Because, like I said, I don't think the Biden administration or the Harris administration would be intelligent enough to pull off some of these things. I don't think they have. I think they're very blindsided. I think they're very low IQ. But the Trump administration, keep in mind, these are like Yale graduates, Harvard graduates, Stephen Miller, like. I don't like these guys. I think they're against the American interest
But
and
they're
they're
smart.
traitors, but they're extremely smart. They're deceptive. They're tactical. They're good at telling you things they want to hear. Like whoever the hell is running the ICE page, which I think they're doing a decent job. But don't you think like
Yeah.
it's a great distraction to have these cool memes and Michael Jackson music about sue me, Jew me? It's like everyone's like, oh hell yeah, we're back. But I'm just like, okay, but what about the deportation numbers? I haven't seen
What
those
about the
since like.
deportation numbers? What about the H-1B1 visas? What about still supporting Israel? I mean, yeah, it's just nonsense. I mean, they're brainwashing us. I mean, they're screwing us over, you know?
Yeah, what's your opinion on the future of this? Because like I'm very concerned with censorship in the upcoming future. Do you think the Republican establishment, and obviously if this does happen, we're going to know who's behind it, just like the Biden administration was in cahoots with the FBI. Do you think that it would go this far, knowing how liberalized the internet is, how much free speech there is in a sense? Do you think that they would do the same thing, like the Trump administration would collude with big tech and the FBI to try to shut down and even ban Americans who are, critical of Israel?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so free and it's so open. They're waiting for something to happen so they can have excuse like, all right, we've had too much. This is hurting society, and this is, anti-Semitic or whatever. So they're waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for some sort of terrorist event, someone to shoot up something, and then they can be like, okay, this guy was following all these pages that are posting far right stuff and liking it and reposting it. So we need to shut this down. Never again could this happen. Kind of that argument. But
Yeah, I
I wouldn't
mean,
be
I think we're
surprised
treading on
if Trump does it.
we're treading on dangerous waters here, and I would even advise everyone, especially if you're a groyper, right wing, really anyone at this point. I would just say like I would say be cautious. I wouldn't say like censor yourself or limit what you're going to say, but I would maybe take a second thought before you post certain things because here's the reality. The anti-Israel, the Jew button, it's very popular and it's very beneficial. I mean, I'm firsthand. I'll say that like it definitely can get you good reach online. But I have a weird feeling that's like kind of maybe intentional. Maybe they're going to take this and they're going to database this. They're going to catalog it. Maybe like some
Well,
Palantir shit comes in to where they,
yeah, I mean,
take away speech.
Trump's doing the AI Palantir database. I mean, that's pretty scary. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
really America first. That's not helping Americans at all. It's just helping the surveillance state. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about the whole Peter Thiel thing, the whole Antichrist, obviously head of Palantir, really the headmaster of JD Vance. Like, if there was an Antichrist or someone who was a real enemy of the state, you would think it would be someone like him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's so I mean, look what 10 years of politics has done to Trump. He's been so infiltrated by the deep state. He turned into the same thing that he sought to destroy. And also, I just don't think he's as sharp as he was 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I mean, I think it's a big difference when you look at him from like the 2015, 2016 speeches, like full of energy, really igniting the crowd. I mean, he still does have a very big audience and still does get people excited, but just objectively, it's not the same thing. It's completely different. It feels like it's more of a kind of a recited message. Like he says the same jokes, he does the same thing over again. Billions and billions and like he just says the same. Like I don't know. I mean, not that the whole joke thing is important, but it's more of like does speak to the bigger problems. I mean, not much change has happened since the first Trump administration. I'm sure you're a bit younger. Do you remember much of Trump's first term?
Um, I mean, a little bit. I me and my dad talked about it. I was like, I like Trump and stuff, but I really didn't know that much about it. I just knew that he wanted to bring back American manufacturing. Forgot, he talked a lot about, the forgotten American, like the American that had been forgotten by globalism and all this other stuff. I mean, but yeah, he's especially a lot different. And he then had a lot of people in his cabinet that were kind of against him just because he was so early. But now it's like they just infiltrated him. Like they have all like everyone that's around Trump, it's kind of like the one same message, like this globalist ideology, kind of morphed into one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally like, yeah, it's they're part and parcel, with Wall Street, or I'm sorry, with Silicon Valley, with the Israel lobby, really this like Zionist regime. Have you seen anything about? And it's been weird this year with the file releases. What's your take on the whole Epstein situation? Because that's kind of gone away
Well,
since Charlie Kirk, but I'm still talking
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, well, Trump promised that he would release the Epstein files. Kash Patel even said that he would release the Epstein files. I think that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent, and he basically got all these politicians doing weird stuff with kids. And if Trump did weird stuff with kids, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Do I think he did personally? No, but he definitely knew it was going on, so they've kind of blackmailed him. It's like Israel's best blackmail they have on all these politicians. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I think it
truly.
should be released. And it's crazy that people are like, "Oh, it's a Democrat hoax." And these people on the right, they always will blame Democrats or Muslims. They never look at themselves and they never look at Zionism as maybe the real issue.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, who's in power right now? They can't, and that's the biggest thing I'll see. Even people that are, operatives of the right, they'll say, "You're woke right because, uh, you should have said this 4 years ago when the Democrats want to release." I'm like, I'm a Republican. I did vouch for this to get
Yeah.
released. And it's
Yeah.
like, who can blame the Democrats now for actually wanting to partner with Thomas Massie to get these files released? It's like, I don't care who you are. Like, it's not a partisan issue to have the largest blackmail ring in American
Yeah.
history
It's a
exposed, and this needs to put
bipartisan
behind
thing.
bars.
We need to release it. The American public should know, I mean, what happened. I mean, the whole Jeffrey Epstein is weird. Like, I mean, whether, the cameras were off or whatever, but
Oh yeah.
uh yeah, it's all messed up. But the politicians knew, I mean, at the end of the day, like once he died, that, he was Mossad for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
how he became so rich is like that's weird too. Like it just doesn't really make sense. He was like a math teacher before, pretty sure.
Yeah, it's weird. Actually, I did like a 2 hour it's actually 3 hour documentary. I haven't even released it yet, but I did like a whole thing on Jeffrey Epstein. Should be up in a couple weeks, but yeah, basically like his whole story, it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time because like I say,
Yeah.
he started the Dalton School. He meets a lot of like big hedge fund guys like the Bronfmans, actually worked in their accounts. And then he actually like I think it was noted that he received hundreds of millions of dollars from Charles Bronfman, Edgar Bronfman. Les Wexner was his account manager that had the rights to his estate and was like the head of Victoria's Secret. I mean, so this guy was like literally working with Jewish American billionaires. Like, so I mean, I think that's where we could assume that where the
Mhm.
money came from. And obviously, I would consider Jeffrey Epstein to be an international agent, or at least
Yeah.
working for on behalf of other countries. And someone like Tulsi Gabbard, I believe she actually has the key to those files because
Mhm.
Epstein being an international agent, someone like her being director of national intelligence, she oversees all intelligence operations, meaning
Mhm.
FBI, international. So you're going to see that Epstein worked with Mossad. He was an Israeli agent with Ehud Barak. He worked with Russia. He worked with the Saudi government, UK especially. We're seeing a lot of
Mhm.
things with that. So they're not going to release these things. So they're going to be so damaging to the public.
I remember one thing just came to my head. I don't know if you know about this, but my dad told me this, and I don't know all the details. But it was something like Trump was in debt, and Jeffrey Epstein like kind of bought him out. He bought a property from him or something like that. And yeah, that's another reason why Trump doesn't want to, release the Epstein files. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or
Yeah, there's a lot of stories with that. It's weird with
yeah.
Epstein and Trump because, and it's actually, of course, no one covered this, but one of the most revealing things in the past months, or I've said this year, of Jeffrey Epstein and Trump's relationship, is the fact that so Trump had this Palm Beach spa, and Jeffrey Epstein was known to be a member there. He was known to be in Trump's clubs. But Epstein actually got Virginia Giuffre, who is actually dead now. She was one of the main victims in the Jeffrey Epstein case, who was abused by Epstein himself. She was actually an employee at the Palm Beach spa where Trump's spa.
Mm.
Epstein was already associated with Trump. They were friends. It was literally said in public documents, and Trump said himself on Air Force One, that Virginia Giuffre was an employee of his, and Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago not because of being creepy, like they said. It was actually because he was stealing employees from Trump, meaning that he was
Really?
taking employees from Trump, literally taking them and helping his sex trafficking operation. So especially something like Virginia Giuffre, Trump admitting that on Air Force One, it's like, I think that that's one of the biggest pieces right there. Like, that's one of, I mean, Trump is involved in this, whether he wants to say it or not. And I mean, for instance, I think Trump is, I don't know if you really go down the rabbit hole. Is this a guy that, was he a blackmailer or was he a blackmailee? Because I look at Trump in 2007, if you go back even further, he actually had, for a brief period of time, he doesn't have anymore, he had like a New Jersey, it was like a nightclub. I don't think it was in like Newark. It was somewhere in New Jersey, but basically he had this problem where there were like a bunch of like, I guess, mob members that were infiltrating his club, or they were around the city. Trump goes on his own behalf, meets with the FBI at his club, not only talks about it, but says, hey, you guys should send federal undercover agents to try to infiltrate our club to catch these people. This dude was a federal informant long ago. So that's where I think that this guy has been compromised for a very long time. He was one of the greatest sells of the century. I mean, I think MAGA, when it comes down to it, will be a scam. But yeah, that's the reality. Like, Trump is, and even an Israeli intelligence officer said that Trump is being blackmailed by Netanyahu with the Epstein Files. I mean, I think it's clear, cut, and dry. And anyone trying to defend this is out of their minds at this point.
And also, I think at the end of the day, Trump realized that Israel could just kill him if they were tired of him. I mean, what do you think about when Trump got shot in Pennsylvania? What do you think that was all about?
That's
Because I
very
think that was
strange to
very
me.
weird.
It's weird because it's very on par. It's almost identical to the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like, it is almost the same deal. You have this 18 to 25-year-old kid who has no social media presence. He somehow manages his way onto a allegedly secured facility, and they both take shots. They both have no autopsy. The whole thing is just a complete like mystery, and all the details are basically covered up. And not only that, like, it's almost like they stopped talking about it. Similar with the Butler thing. It's like, if you're Trump and someone tries to kill you, don't you think you want to know about that, especially as the most powerful man in the world? It's like, I think that there's a reason he doesn't want to know about that. And I don't know. I do question that whole thing. I don't want to be one of those like, conspiracy nut job that says, oh, it was Mossad did it. It was set up. Like, I don't know, dude. It is very strange.
It's just
because
very weird. Very weird.
I look at the reaction to that. What happened after that massive event where, Trump damn near got killed, and he stood up and, put his fists up, fight, fight, fight. It's like, just after that, Elon Musk pledged support for Trump. The next weekend, Vance was coined as his vice president. So, I mean, and he obviously, I think that helped him win. I think even I remember someone like Stephen A. Smith, who was like a lifelong Democrat and is an independent now. He even said that, yeah, like, Donald Trump will win the election because of what happened in Butler. So it obviously helped Trump. He had everything to gain from it. I don't discount. I mean, I think it probably was. I think someone did try to assassinate him. But my thing is, I do think that for sure Thomas Crooks, whether he was doing this with to help Trump or to hurt Trump or with the Biden administration, he was definitely working with the federal government, no doubt about it.
He was in a BlackRock video too. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he was in a BlackRock video. Yeah, he was in that. And then what was it? The craziest thing is that he had like 9 different cell phones, and all those cell phones were, I guess, like, you check the geolocation. He went from a government building outside of the city to his house, like, back and forth. So, and then, like I said, no autopsy. I mean, I think that's for a reason. Then the weird thing is, if you actually look at the picture of Thomas Crooks when he was shot, it doesn't look anything like the actual, like how he's depicted in real life. Yeah. So again, I don't want to be this weird. I don't want to be this like schizo nut job here, but like I guess my schizo theory here would be that I think intelligence agencies for the longest time have been able to manipulate people, manipulate events, manipulate society. I don't think it's crazy to say they could stage events like this. They could, maybe even someone like Tyler Robinson is, maybe he's not even real. I mean, that's far fetched. Yeah. But why have we not someone like him? Why have we not seen a perp walk? Why have we not seen any picture of him, since he was incarcerated? And, the whole story with that makes zero sense. Someone like Tyler Robinson, if you're able to, pull something like that off, which I don't think someone like him could do alone, why would you, and after driving 350 miles back home, why would you then go confess it into a group chat and, oh, your dad is the person that turned you in?
I even heard that his dad actually didn't turn him in. That's what I heard too.
Yeah, it was like comedy. I heard it was like his dad and a pastor. Like I guess he must have allegedly told somebody, and his dad was the person that was going to turn him in or did turn him in. But what's funny before that is Bill Ackman, the big Jewish donor who was allegedly in Hampton's meeting with Charlie Kirk weeks prior and beefing with him about Israel. Ackman offered a $1.2 million reward to whoever finds Charlie Kirk's killer, and it happened to be his dad of Tyler Robinson, the dad of Tyler Robinson. So that to me is very strange, and
Yeah,
I think like
very strange.
people are not.
Also, how did a 30-06 round not go through Charlie's neck? That's what I'm like. You know,
Yeah, the
I
magic
actually
bullet. Yeah.
my little theory on that is that Charlie's little, his little thing right here, those that actually like exploded into him because somebody actually picked it up after
Mm,
Charlie got shot. I mean, if we look
yeah.
at the Mossad pagers, the pagers they did a few months prior, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. That's what it
Yeah, that's a good
was.
point. I said the same thing too. I said if you see what the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence, is capable of, like, yeah, they literally blew up pagers in 2024 of Hezbollah, the Lebanon resistance group, as they were like walking through grocery stores. Like, I mean, if they're capable of doing that, I mean, who's to say they couldn't do that
And
to an American?
yeah, they had it so a pager could blow up on you and not hurt a person that's 3 feet away from you. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really crazy. And then also another weird thing, a plane that came out of Utah, it turned off its transponder, which I'm in aviation. I don't know if you know what a transponder is, but it's basically
Mm,
so they can see you
yeah.
on your radar. And it turned back on once it landed in Israel, about 30 minutes after Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yeah, that's strange. I did see that a little bit. I don't know if I was too compelled by that, but because I do think that it's definitely something that if you're the FBI, that has to be in your circle of investigations.
Mm.
But like, I mean, yeah, that itself. Then you talk about, the fact that what was it? Yeah, the 30-06 makes no sense. I mean, that would go through any animal. If you're hunting, I mean, I've been hunting before. That there's no way that someone's bone could be so dense to stop a bullet like that. And here's the funny thing, right? They say that the bullet that hit Charlie Kirk from straight on saved other people's lives. Now, weren't the people that were around him, to his right, to his left, and in front of him, not behind him? So that would almost tell you, if that was the case, which mainstream media is claiming is to be true, the bullet had to have came from a different direction because the people were standing to the left, to the right, and straight at him. So that doesn't make, again, they're, and then the fact that they cover it up within 5 days, like literally put
I saw
pavers
that, yeah.
over, literally covering it up. I mean, that's what a cover up is.
It's
Uh,
it's wild. It's truly it's very sinister what, our government and other foreign agencies can do to, the people if we speak out against them or try to question them. And it's really scary. It's really scary.
yeah, that's the whole premise of this. I mean, I think they want to scare us here. I think whoever really was behind this, that was the point. It wasn't that they wanted to take out Charlie Kirk, which again, whoever wanted to, that it definitely helped the liberals in a sense. But I would say like they wanted to silence everyone. They wanted to make it to where, okay, you need to be afraid to step on a college campus and voice your opinions. Like someone like me, this only makes me more enticed to go on campuses and carry on the torch and do what Charlie did, because there was maybe 10
Mhm.
people in the country that would even do that. So I think that really is going to have more of the Streisand effect when it comes to it, because I think Americans, our generation, just like yourself, I mean, post Charlie Kirk's death, within a month, someone like yourself, has the courage to stand up and challenge one of the most notorious, Zionists, but conservative commentators, in our country, which is speaking volumes. It's making waves throughout the country and the world as we speak right now. I mean, literally, like I said, you type in Glenn Beck on Twitter, it says Israel and Turning Point USA, and you find the video of yourself there. So, I mean,
Yeah, I saw
that's,
even Candace Owens reposted it.
oh, she did.
Hmm.
That's awesome. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, hundreds and millions of people had to have seen this, resonated with, several millions itself. But I mean, that's what it's going to take. I mean, it's just going to take just young Americans willing to stand up in front of the microphone, whether it's Glenn Beck, whether it's a Ben Shapiro, whether it's, liberal, a
Yeah.
communist, a
Oh,
Jew. Like, I think it's up to us.
the best way we got to do it to defeat the left and the establishment, we have to be intellectual, and we also have to be very rational. And we cannot rationalize our emotions. We have to be rational and intellectual. That's one of my key points I like to stand by.
Yeah. And I would say another thing is we can't compromise too. Only, I mean, small
Yeah, we
things
can't.
maybe, but especially large things like immigration, Christian values, abortion, for my opinion, free speech, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment privacy rights. Like these are things that are being taken away from us even by the Trump administration, that all Americans, should stand by these amendments. They should stand by the protection of Americans. And I think in general, I do think, optimistically, a lot of Americans do stand by these principles, but they're just too blindsided by it. They're being distracted. They're falling into the obfuscation trap of people like, Brandon Tatum, Officer Talmud, and literally, I mean, that's another thing we can talk about, the $7,000 per post campaign that Netanyahu and the Israelis are sending out, which is trust me, that is very real, by the way. I can confirm that to be very real. And I will add this, though, it's pretty funny. I actually was part of an organization. I'm still part of them as an influencer, but Uncensored AI, if you've heard of them on X, they started to get really big in the past 2 weeks, up until they got banned. But we had about like 50, 60, some of the biggest far right influencers with badges, like building the platform, boosting each other's profiles. Like, it was getting huge. Then right after Netanyahu comes to America, meets his influencers, they say, we're going to combat TikTok and X we're going to combat the woke right by using TikTok and X. Sure enough, Uncensored AI gets banned. We lose all of our affiliate badges. And I think that was intentional. I think that was when they say the woke right, like, that's who they were targeting. And they're sending more chilling messages that, hey, if you want to, I mean, think about that. Uncensored AI was paying $5,000 a month to X to be able to have free speech. And and this is what it said that it was because of denying the Holocaust. It was due to anti-Israel, anti-Zionism sentiment. Like, this is what X actually said to us. So
Really?
So that's the thing. Like, they value free speech, but they really don't when it comes to a certain point. And that's what we did. We pushed it to the absolute max, and we saw what happened. I mean, Uncensored AI went down. We're on Go Uncensored now. We have another account up to 10,000 followers. But again, they'll probably do the same thing. They're going to probably cancel us again. But I mean, it's just crazy that this is the reality. It's like, we really can tell that even with free speech, even we think things are safe. And unfortunately, I don't know how we're going to get out of this. I mean, it's going to take nothing more than just, Gen Z speaking up and, noticing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. We just
Oh,
gotta be brave, and we
yeah,
just
my
gotta
bad.
be, no, we just gotta speak
Yeah.
our mind. But we gotta have the facts straight at the end of the day, always.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the reality. And, someone like myself who's a Christian, I stand with God. I stand with Jesus Christ. Actually, the American principles that our forefathers, had our predecessors put on the plate for us. And I think if we stand by those, things are bound to go back the way they were. And whether this is another 1776 moment down the line, sooner than later, who knows? That's what America was founded on. It was founded on, 13 to 100 white men who risked their lives to sign documents that gave us our freedom and colonized the land to later to be given to illegal immigrants and other people who claim to have affinity over it. So that's the thing, though. I mean, I think our voice is the most important thing here, and the fact that people like us, it doesn't mean we don't have to be institutionally recognized. We don't have to be part of the establishment. We don't even have to have a big following. The fact that we even voice our opinions is such a threat to these people. And I'm not sure if you've seen people like Mark Levin and Josh Hammer, who literally have told me that I am anti-Semitic because my bloodline consists of European DNA, because they claim that Europeans are inherently anti-Semitic because they're blood. So, I mean, it's crazy what these people think. They're not hiding it. These are the same people that
Yeah,
actually meet with
they hate
Trump and are
us. They hate
lobbying.
us. I mean,
They hate
they
us.
literally
Exactly.
hate us. They hate everything about us.
100%. And yeah, they're openly admitting it. I think for a while they did try to, say, okay, we're going to keep this pro-Israel message along. We're going to try to get people on the same page. But now we're at a point where I think, like, Netanyahu coming to America, the pastor saying, we value Jews more than Gentiles. Like, I think that they realize they're just going to be blunt about it because, they can't lie about it because people aren't
Yeah.
believing it. So they're just going to be
Well,
straight up with it, and they're going to cancel us, and they're going to do what they
I
can.
I really believe they're losing the battle, though, every day. Every day, someone wakes up to the Israel lobby. Someone wakes up to the fact that our government's occupied. I see it around me, and I've seen it happen to me over the past year. I mean, there's so many friends I know that would never, think how we do, but now they're talking about it, and they're asking questions, and they're seeing the truth, and they're really frustrated. It's hard once you realize it, how much control they have and how much things are messed up. They just can't fathom it. It takes a minute to understand it and be like, wow, I can't believe this.
Yeah, a lot of the lines a lot of my friends would use when the whole red pilling started is that they would say, I don't care about Israel and I don't care about Palestine. I only care about America. Well, it's like
Mhm.
once you actually look into what's going on, there is no choice here. Like we may not care about Israel, but they certainly care about us. They certainly want our support. They certainly rely on us for their existence, and they're
Mhm.
willing to literally sabotage our country to do so. And I think that's the point where you can't defend anymore, especially as an American. Maybe as as a dual loyalty Jew, you certainly can. But as a especially a white Christian American, it's like I mean, the only way that you're even falling for that propaganda is, like you said, the Schofield Bible is because of this, new wave of money being dumped into Christian churches. Luckily, I don't believe it was cat because I'm in the process of being a Catholic, but I don't think that it does
Yeah, I
affect
don't
the
think
Catholic churches.
the Catholic Church isn't corrupted as much. It's mainly
Yeah,
what I noticed is mainly evangelicals and Baptists, and really among the South for the most part.
exactly. And it's funny because they're the ones that claim to be against Catholicism because they're like, oh, that's
Yeah, it's the
it's
Pope and yeah,
cultism.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like because I talk to people all the time before I became a Catholic. That was the biggest argument against it. Like even like cradle Catholics, they'll say, "Oh well, there's just you're just too much to follow by. The principles are too much. It's corrupt." It's like maybe you're just not committed enough. I mean that's what I kind of thought it boiled down to. Again, nothing against Protestants, people that are I get there's 40,000 sects of Christianity, but yeah, I mean I personally do think that Catholicism is the truth, and I think Jesus Christ is our Savior, obviously, and the principles and the commandment and the Catholics follow is much more principled. It's much more makes you have to be committed to what you're doing. So
Mm.
yeah, that's what helped me get inclined to that, and I think people like Nick Fuentes have definitely made a big impact with the Catholic world. You have a lot of other people out there that what's his name, Dr. Taylor Marshall. So there's been a lot of really staunch pro-America, anti-Israel. Why wouldn't I say anti-Israel? I would just say like critical of Israel because the biggest thing they try to conflate is, oh, you say you're anti-Israel, that must mean you hate Jews. It's like, no, I just condemn the current Israeli government,
Yeah.
and it's not even that. I condemn what a majority of the consensus is in Israel because they'll say, oh, well, it's just Netanyahu. No, it's 70% of
The whole
Jews in
thing.
Israel
Yeah.
think that yeah, they want they don't want a Palestinian state. They want to overthrow and commit these international crimes against the Gazans and cover it up and arrest anyone who dares to record this. So that's the reality we're living in, and yeah, we've been controlled by these people since I believe. I mean, I think it's been a long time, but the most firm evidence is 1914 with the Balfour Declaration.
Mhm.
We
Yeah,
literally
because the British realized that the Zionist lobby in America was the biggest, most powerful group in America. So they got us into World War I by doing that,
yeah, and
by
then look what
promising
happened
a
after that.
Israeli state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if we didn't get involved in World War I think a lot of issues in the world would have been better. But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't.
I think we wouldn't be occupied. We would actually have sovereignty as a country. We wouldn't be in these meddling affairs that's cost us, I mean, 10 to 15 trillion dollars, maybe more than that, with the Middle East. Ukraine, Russia is a different story, but the Middle East in particular, it is a mess. I mean, and we're helping Israel do this not just for any reason. They don't just want to, they don't just think that they're in danger. They want regional hegemony. They want to be, the
Greater
greater
Israel.
Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're then that's not a conspiracy. It's on their freaking IDF soldiers' patches on their shoulders. So yeah, I don't want when someone says like you're woke right or oh you're a conspiracy theorist tinfoil hat guy. It's like no, this is facts. Like, and if you're denying that, if you're trying to say I'm wrong about that, I really question who is behind this. Is this person being paid? Because I mean, or maybe what? Maybe they're just that naive, and they just because I do believe there are a
Yeah.
lot of political. There's a lot of political commentators with big followings too that really don't know anything. They don't read. They don't actually analyze things. In some cases, they
You,
have people working for them. So
to be well rounded on politics, you have to read a lot into history and philosophy and really anthropology as well. One of my favorite YouTubers, What If Alt His. I don't know if you've heard of him. He did a really good video
yeah,
how family structure dictates political ideology, and I've always thought about that, and I think that's very interesting.
yeah. What's your? 'Cause we haven't talked about it yet. What's your take on the whole like feminism thing with the whole like? Obviously marriages are going downhill. The
Yeah.
modern traditions are definitely going downhill as well. Like, what do you think about all that? I mean, I'm definitely very critical of the
Uh,
feminist movement, and I think it's caused a lot of damage here.
well, I think there's a few things. The fact if they never allowed women to work, wages would be a lot more. because then in turn there'd be less workers. I think feminism has destroyed the family. It's very sad that some girls would rather make $60,000 a year making PowerPoints than have a family. But also, it's a sign of that people are not ready to have kids young, because marriage age is like 28, 29. That basically means that people don't have enough income and they aren't prepared to have kids. So that's like kind of a society issue. If houses were cheaper, if we had better jobs, things like that would kind of fall in place naturally.
Yeah, it's a multitude of effects. I agree with you there. I think it's because I mean the feminism thing's a big problem. Like obviously, like if you look at the numbers today, 31% of Gen Z women identify as LGBTQ, gay, non-bi, like all
I,
that stuff.
I
So
think
it's
social
definitely a
media
problem.
has a lot. I think social media has a lot to do with it too, because a lot of these girls can just get endless validation from men they've never met in their entire life. It used to be, you kind of have like whatever your community in town. That's kind of where talk to other men and stuff like that. But now it's like Snapchat, Instagram, and I mean we all use social media, but they can get validation from anywhere, and it's like it's just detrimental to mental health and it's detrimental to society.
Yeah, that's I mean that's inherently created hypergamy. If you know what that is, that's literally that that
Yeah, I know.
10% of women sleep with like 90% of women or 90% of men. And I think like I did that I said this like 5 years ago actually. I think I was like in
Or
high school. I
I
said
think I think I think it's 90% of women sleep with 10% of men. Pretty
okay, yeah,
sure
I said
that's
that
what it
wrong.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I said this like in high school. I think I said if you took a poll, if you said 100 guys send a DM to one girl, I would say 99% of them would be left unread. Maybe one gets answered. But on the contrary, if a girl sends a DM to 100 guys, let's say, then 99% of them will answer. So I think that
Yeah.
that's whether that's social media, feminism, poor economy. It's like that's the
Black pill.
reality, and it's again,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, it is a black pill. Yeah, I mean, it really does change the standards of dating. It changes the standards of marriage. Even in some sense, your actual like values itself. Like it definitely does. You do hit a road when it comes to that. I'll say from what I mean, just looking at the numbers. I mean, yeah, the fact, yeah, like I said, 31% of Gen Z women. So that you're talking about only 69% of them are even willing to reproduce, and the rest of them are that's not including the feminists and the crazies and
Yeah.
the drugged up lunatics. So
I'll,
yeah,
I'll,
it's pretty wild. Like I said, the societal problems have. I mean, sorry, the financial problems have made it worse. The Federal Reserve.
it's modernity, and I mean it's the economy, globalism, mass immigration. It's a multitude of things, and it's like it's our society's so screwed. And people always focus on like the results of issue, not the issue itself. Like, say people will be like, okay, we have a mental health crisis. We need to, get these people into rehabs. Well, why are they mentally ill? People don't look at the root cause of things, and that's what I think a big problem with our modern society is. People don't look at the root causes on why there's issues like this, and they have this kind of premise that history ended after World War II, and that everything's good, progress is innate, all progress is good, but that's not necessarily true. We need to reflect on history and look at the things that have made our societies great and replicate them.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I think we're not even a generation away. I mean, I know they say this a lot, but we really aren't a generation away from everything completely collapsing. I mean, Social Security is expected to run out by 2033, so Gen Z can already kiss that goodbye. Pretty much for most people, we could say kissing owning a house goodbye.
Mm.
So yeah, these are things that it's like I said, it's a multitude of effects. It's something that probably stems from 9 to 10 to 100 problems. And yeah, we've had leaders on both sides that are unwilling to do anything about it. They purport to be the solution, but every time we think they are, they turn on us. They side with their donors, the establishment, the people that gave them that power. And that's what our generation realizes. And I think whether they like it or not, there is going to be a change because once there's a thing about our generation experiencing this, Gen Alpha and I believe Gen Beta after that. I mean, imagine how red pill they're going to be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that like I mean hard times are just going to create strong men. I mean it's like a cycle. Me and my buddy were talking about this. Also, I think a lot of people in this world they see no purpose because you can't have a good job, live a middle class lifestyle, can't find a girlfriend, then what's the point of creating stuff and having a good life, having a good country? But we need to focus on the main societal issues on why these things are happening.
100%. And yeah, we need more innovators. We need more younger people willing to speak up. And, we need more entrepreneurs in general. I mean,
Mhm.
86% of the labor in the United States or our workforce is service work. And the other 14 to 13% is the entrepreneurial, many which are, monopolized industries. But yeah, we do need people that are willing to, conquer and challenge the establishment, whether it's in politics, finance, entertainment, food. I mean, all these things need to be cornered, and we need
Yeah,
real populists in charge.
you say food. Also, I like to bring this up. Trump, Robert Kennedy, they promised to make food cleaner and healthier, but nothing has been done about that either. I like to work out and go to the gym, so I kept reading that stuff. I know what foods are good for you, seed oils are bad, stuff like that. Trump never did anything about that either. That's not been because they have like pretty much eight companies own everything that we eat, and I mean that's not been tackled at all.
Yeah, and it really comes down to what is it? Wall Street, State Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock basically control all of those companies in general. If you look down deep into it, but yeah, I mean, I
Mm.
think what the most they did is they took Red 40 out of M&Ms. I was like, okay, I don't even eat those anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, we're not going to be concerned about the fluoride in our water. We're not concerned about, clearly not concerned. I mean, Trump the other day just announced a purchase for like 80,000 tons of Argentinian beef. So
yeah.
clearly they're
I'm like,
not, focused on health here.
why not support American farmers? You know what I mean? It's like this is not. It's just sad. I mean, it's like we got lied to. I mean, we got catfish pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, just like the other times before. I mean, just like Bush, both his terms. Even Republicans before that. Reagan, Nixon, Johnson. I mean, it just goes down the line, and it happens every time. I mean, we think that we're voting for freedom, we're voting for a constitutional republic, but in all reality, we're just voting for this oligarchy. Is where this really
Yeah.
this
Tech,
transnational
techno,
Jewish oligarchy.
technocratic
Yeah,
Jewish Zionist oligarchy. That's all we got. I mean, it's.
yeah,
I mean,
and it's
where are the mass deportations? Where are the manufacturing jobs? Where's the healthy food? I mean, where's all the where's the stuff we're supposed to get? We voted for no more wars. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like they even lied about things they campaigned on after the election. They said the whole Doge thing would be, well, we're going to save half the national debt. We're going to cut 20 trillion in savings, and then, oh, by the way, with the savings, we're going to give $5,000 to every single American for a Doge savings check, which never happened, by the way. So
No.
it's lie after lie. It's just false promise after false promise, and I think that people are fed up with it. And Trump's approval rating speaks volumes. I would see at this point, if he doesn't turn things around, which I don't think he will, he's going to leave office with a 35. I mean, he might have the lowest approval rating of all time, even lower than Biden's. I think that's
Yeah.
probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's sad to say. It's really sad how I've seen Trump's like lifetime. I mean, in 2016 he was our guy. I mean, he was our guy. And then in 2020 he should have won too. I do think the election was stolen from him if you really look into
Yeah.
it. And then he just got corrupted by the deep state. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad what happened.
Yeah, I mean it's a tragedy. I mean this country we really thought that this last election was this is everything. Our country's at stake, and then it turns out things arguably are worse than what they
Mhm,
could be. So
mhm.
I mean, like I said, we're seeing censorship. We're seeing no mass deportations, no solution to any of the problems. They say that we're going to get involved in Bitcoin and work on alternative currencies, and then they don't even have a Bitcoin reserve. So it's just like, I mean, they have no solution for everything. It kind of seems like, and I realized this after Trump made his cabinet selections in November. That's when I was like really like on the anti-Trump, not really anti. I mean, yeah, I guess I could say that's fair, anti-Trump at this
Mhm.
point. But I was like, okay, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Christy Nome is DHS Secretary. I was like, what are we thinking here? This is exactly what we did in the first term. And we got,
Yeah.
John Bolton, Comey. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe
I
it's a
did
little better, but
I didn't like Vance. That's when I was like, all right, maybe Trump's not our guy. I mean, that's kind of when I saw it.
oh yeah. Yeah, Vance's I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, Vance's background, I don't know if they just thought that would never come up again. But yeah, I mean, he's been someone that's been in the works for probably 10 to 15 years to become president. I mean, maybe longer than
Mm.
that. I mean, his
But
whole
yeah,
life's
they've
been a
been pushing
facade.
him.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, the cat turds of Twitter are artificially boosting him every day. I mean, it's only a matter of time before he actually says he's going to run. I really think that's probably the case in the next year or two. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think Vance is gonna be the guy. I really don't think he's gonna. I mean, obviously, I don't think he is the guy. I don't think he's gonna even be elected. I do not see a JD Vance as president. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I really have a hard time because I think they foisted him upon us so hard, and they really like they put so much into this guy that I think they really lost sight of what's really going on in this country. And, Vance, someone like him, how is he going to answer during these debates when they bring up Palantir and J.D. Vance, has this document about the Antichrist, and how he went by 3 different names, and how he had 5 different venture capitalist jobs in 3 years. And I mean, none of it makes, and going to Yale is very suspect. The whole Skull and Bones Society, like that's where a lot of people come out of. So yeah, I mean, that's the problem here. It's like Vance is going to have to answer those questions. And I mean, what's he going to do? Lie about it? I mean, he can't just say, J.D. Vance or Peter Thiel, Antichrist, Jewish billionaire who's helped taking away our surveillance or taking our surveillance state in America. Yeah, this guy is he's a good guy. It's like that's not going to work. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to have a hard time. And that's where inherently, I think a Steve Bannon, someone like that, will just come out and tell people what they want to hear. Maybe even again, I don't fully agree with Tucker on 100%. I think he likely is intelligence to a point. But yeah, I mean, I think that yes, if someone like him goes up there and speaks against the establishment, like they're probably going to win. Like I don't think the Vances, the Rubios, I think their days are over. I think that whole Mitt Romney era of we can just kind of throw someone at you. It's like no, we have social media now. We have we see what's going on.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean these things aren't hidden anymore. They're not taboo. So it's like, yeah, like that these are the things that are going to be up against Vance. They're going to be up against again, I wouldn't even say that Vance is fully for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if an Eric Trump or a Rubio or a Pete Hegseth tries to run as well. I could totally see that. Maybe be a VP candidate. But yeah, like 2028 is going to be interesting. I would love to see who's going to be on the debate stage because I mean if you're Trump, you've got a hat full of names to pick from. Like you said, you got his whole family. You got Vance, you got Rubio, Hegseth. You can even go to like a Vivek Ramaswamy. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think Vivek would win at all. I mean,
no, not now. Especially watching him in his previous campaign. Like, he only got 7% in the Iowa caucus. So, I mean, yeah, especially after the whole thing with his one tweet last year where he tried to say Americans are lazy, and then he said recently that the founding fathers founding America, that them being white is just nothing more than an idea, and it doesn't really matter. It's like, dude, imagine if I went to India and started telling all the Indians that your guys' ethnicity that founded this country doesn't really matter, but listen to me. It's like, that's literally what he's doing, and that he's not going to win with that. He's only going to attract, just like Zoran Mamdani, he's going to attract the foreigners, the likely Marxist, communist, socialists. I mean, I don't see much of a difference between Vivek and Mamdani.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it really is pretty wild. And that's just how the system is. I mean, they groom these 4.0 or 4.8 GPA candidates, and they groom them for years. They put them to these high institution programs, and next thing you know, they're on the ballot. So that's what they've done for the longest time. They're going to continue to do it. But like I said, I think we're going to see a real match in 2026 and 2028 when some of these anti-establishment candidates that are speaking out against Israel, that are conservative, they're like, look, we've had enough. Our country doesn't stand by what we're doing to, first of all, with, to the Palestinians, killing 65,000 of them within 2 years. And more importantly, how they're, controlling our system itself. And like I said, it's like Thomas Massie, my congressman, he won with 76% of the vote in the last election. He's going to win by a landslide, even more, though Trump's trying to campaign against him.
Trump's trying to primary him out. Yeah, I saw that. I made a video on that, actually.
Yeah, it's a good thing to talk about. I mean, I stand with Trump, Thomas Massie. I'm sorry, I stand with Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, both from my state of Kentucky. We're holding down the fort in the bluegrass state. Like, we're not going to let some Zionist politics. We're not going to let Trump himself come in and wield their $1 billion money against us to try to literally just take out the people of Kentucky. Because how dare Trump literally tell us in Kentucky who voted for Thomas Massie that he's not good enough for us. I mean, dude, you've been to Kentucky like 5 times in your life, so. I don't know. That's where people in my base and in the state of Kentucky in my district are infuriated. I mean, I've never seen a more anti-Trump sentiment out of because my district is more of like Republican libertarians, I would say, because you got Thomas Massie, Rand Paul, T.J. Roberts, more of like obviously very conservative, America first, very critical of Israel. But it's like I've seen a complete red pilling of all like the Boone County libertarians. It's pretty funny because they're like, I mean, they're relentlessly. It's not like it's the woke right. It's like they're going to say the woke libertarians now because, I mean, people have had enough, and it'll be interesting to see the Massie race because The guy they put up against him is no name. Yeah, he's a veteran, but I mean, he's no different than Mitch McConnell. Took money from the same people.
Yeah.
It's going to be an embarrassing election for Trump. He's proven wrong yet again, and he's either going to have to change his mind and support Massie, or he's just going to die on a hill, stand alone, and with cat's herd. I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So, I feel pretty optimistic about with Massie. I mean, again, I could be wrong. The Jewish lobby is extremely powerful, as we know, and they're influencing its Massie right now with the help of Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, literally people on the Epstein list, and who helped Trump fund his 2024 campaign. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I think it's going to come down to really the people of Kentucky, and really, I guess in general, the people of America that are just fed up with this Zionist infiltration.
100%, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have a lot of hope. I mean, I really do think our generation's kind of woken up to it. I really do. I mean, if you just I talk to a lot of people about this stuff, and people come to talk to me about it. And I mean, pretty much all the feedback's positive from young people. I've probably had like 3 people that I know that have said I'm crazy or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good sign. And I'm sure like yourself, you probably got a lot of more positive feedback than negative. I mean, the fact that, like you said, someone in college is willing to stand up to a lifelong establishment conservative, like an agent of the Matrix, basically. And that's where, like, inherently, like, it's a crazy story. It's an awesome story. And I hope we see more like it. I think we will. And just like yourself, and myself, I think we're going to inspire millions of people to do the same. And we're going to go down the right side of history. And these Zionists, they're going to have a lot of explaining to do in these next coming elections.
Yeah, they will, and it's going to be a hard time for them to explain. Really, there's not much ways they can justify it.
Yeah, I think they're cooked either way. I mean, who knows? Like I said, they've got. I'm not going to downplay their power at all, but it's the American people. This is like a revolution against this machine. This just Jewish Israel first machine that we're essentially done with. I mean, I really don't see how moving forward there is any support when it comes from Gen Z. They can try to ban TikTok. They can try to take us off Twitter. They can shut down the protests in college campuses, but they can't take away our voices in general. They can't take away.
They can't take our voices and thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're going to try, but they can only do so much. And like I said, when we faced the British in 1776, we declared our freedom, our independence, and it may take a situation similar to that again in the future, where 13 to 100 of the bravest men stand up and say, "Look, I will declare freedom, or I don't stand with death. Like I'm not willing to compromise on those issues." So it is very. I would say I'm more white pilled, actually. I hate using the term black pill because a lot of things are very, very black pilling to be objective. But I would consider myself to be white pilled. I do think there is adversity ahead of us, but I do think that there is also a lot of optimism. I think that there's just so much that our generation is bound to accomplish, and whether we do it or not, it's going to be an absolute thorn in the thigh of the people who are controlling our country predominantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. This has been a hell of an interview. We got an hour and 20 minutes in.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity. I hope we can do this again.
Absolutely, brother. And like I said, I hope you build your own platforms up. I'll give you a follow and everything. And I do think that someone like yourself is going to make a lot of waves in the upcoming conservative, politics, especially being young like yourself. And I hope you do the same and continue on that path. I appreciate it, brother.